Welcome back to another School Bus Ace Tanker video. Today I'm featuring the M103 that after a fair amount of time I finally managed to get Ace Tanker on it. I mean, we're only talking 200 battles or so, but it did leave me playing it even after I had unlocked everything. My crew was looking good. I continued to play it before moving on to the E5 simply because I wanted to be able to get Ace Tanker. And I had many close games. But finally here we're seeing where I was able to deliver, finish it. And so we're on Sand River, we're on defense, and I actually kind of like the fact it's a tier 10 game. I'm in a tier 9 tank, and that allows you to experience farm a little bit better. If you get some big hits on the higher tier tanks, you get more experience for that. So this works out well. And you can see here I'm working the 7 line and using this nice hull down position. And don't have quite enough gun depression to be able to make the shot here on the smuts, but without exposing myself. But I do finally get the shot in there. Now, as this matures a bit, you'll begin to see I get some pressure from further off, where they're sniping me from the hill. But this is a great spot. You get good shots out on the field. You also are able to watch the 0 line as any tanks begin to push into there. Typically, that's where the heavy tanks will make their move to try and take the base. And there's Mouse on his way in to try and do that. Now, I would love to go up and take a shot at that Type 61, but it's not really a very good idea. Now, I go ahead and do this here. I don't know if I'd recommend doing that, because especially with the M103, the sides of the turret are so soft, you just can't take many risks. And he fires back on me. Fortunately, I bounce. And it's worth pointing out, seeing that IS-3, I do play this position as well with my IS-3. I'm just not able to make the shots up over the hill the other direction, but I am able to make these shots down the F line into the other entrance to the base. I have some help now from the Oho, and I believe at this time it's going through my mind that I don't want to get in his way. I don't want to get shot in the back of the head, but also I just don't want to be an annoyance. Now we're starting to get that pressure from up above that I mentioned earlier. It's rather fortunate, some of the hits I take here. If you're in a T-32, might not be so bad. You can actually, you have good hull armor, or good turret armor on the sides. That's just not true with the 103. That's one of the big adjustments when you move to this tank from the 32, is always pointing at the incoming fire, which ideally is also the thing that you're shooting at, which is why this is not an ideal situation for that. But as long as I stay low enough, they can't get shots on the side of the turret, and I'm protected. Great shot into T10 there. Now, unfortunately, the mouse took that advantage and started to move ahead. I would have liked to have gotten 2 side shots onto him. Just got to be patient. You know they're going to come. Let's see if maybe we can delete out the T10. Excellent. Now, what's critical in this situation is that you do need some of your team back in the base, keeping the heavies from just moving straight ahead, and then they'll just come around and flank you and kill you. It's over. And we have that here. We have just a couple of tanks back here at the base, down on the 0 line, protecting me from having all those enemies push through. Shouldn't have even taken that shot. And you'll see in the post-game stats, I wasn't doing a very good job with my shot accuracy. This certainly was not a stellar game for me in terms of shot accuracy. At this point, the game is starting to look like an almost certain win. The question for me is, at this point, I don't believe I thought that it was really that fantastic of a game at this point. I was at 3,000 damage and 1 kill. If you've been looking at my ammo loadout, I only have 1 more AP round, and then I'm going to be moving into the heat rounds. I'll admit, I thought things were over at this point. I bounced that shot on the T-69. The Object 140 moves in for the kill. All these two need to do is get a shot in a piece, and I'd be gone. 1 down. Now it's just the Object 140. He's still got pretty good hit points. He's sitting at 1180. I'm only down at 492. But he's afraid both the Yoho and I are armed, aimed, and ready, which is true. So he holds back, but by this point, because our other flanks have pushed around, it doesn't really matter. He gets taken out. So now I'm looking and saying, I'm at 4,300 damage. I got 2 kills. I need to do everything I can to try and push this to see if maybe this is the game where I'd get Ace Tanker. So I really want the mouse. He's certainly going to get me the most experience. So get a good shot in there. Now he starts to shoot at me, and I just keep myself pointed at him and just kind of wiggle the turret a little bit to try and bounce the shot. I don't know what I was doing there. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. But what I'm looking for is, I know this tank can pen that little sweet spot down on the hull. I think I actually could have taken a turret shot since I was shooting my heat rounds, but I get 1 more shot in, which puts me at nice 5,100 damage with 2 kills. All right, now let's go look at the post-game stats. All right, here are the post-game stats. So, Ace Tanker, and managed to get a few awards here. Nothing real spectacular, high caliber. It's kind of nice. Usually you like to see with your Ace Tankers, nice Kalbanov's medal, or at least a Top Gun, something along those lines. Well, nothing of the sort here. Pretty blasé, I guess you could say. So good amount of module damage. I believe that adds some extra experience. Obviously, racking up damage is the most important thing, and this is a good example where managed Ace Tanker but didn't have that many kills, just had 2 kills. It really comes down to damage. So generally, I found if you look at your stat data on any website or anything, if you look at the experience you receive and you look at the win rate, they will usually track pretty close together, and win rate is predominantly driven by damage. So moving on, look at how compare with the rest of the team, doing an experience here. I definitely had a great game in terms of damage compared to everybody else, and our team just absolutely annihilated the other team. And that's a delicate balance with Ace Tanker. You don't want to be on too good of a team because you never get a chance to do anything because the rest of your team is rocking it. They're killing everything. On the other hand, you don't want to have a bad team because then you can't stay alive long enough to actually be able to influence the game unless you're just an absolutely epic player, which there are plenty of them out there. So, last we'll look at detail report. As I said, my accuracy was not that great. Fired 25 shots, 17 connected, 14 penetrated. I did bounce 2,300 damage, which I don't know if that was a high for my entire time in this tank, but it certainly had to be on the high end of it. And then because I'd run out of AP rounds and I was into the heat rounds, I didn't make a whole lot of money on this because that was an expensive ammunition build. So, hope you enjoyed this, and go ahead and take what you can from this and apply it to your own games, and I'll keep posting when I manage to get Ace Tankers of my own. Thanks for watching.